I'm Deepak Chopra. You're watching New Realities.
Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and this program is about the expansion of consciousness. And one of my favorite people, someone who really adds to this consciousness movement, because it is a movement, it's a population, it's a growing culture, is today's guest, Kristin Hoffmann. And she is probably, really, thank you, Kristin, for being here, my favorite musical input into this field of expanding consciousness, because she lives it and breathes it and creates from this level of consciousness. So that's one of the, I'll just do a brief introduction, but there's so much I want to talk to you about, as a yes, as a musician.
It's so good to be here. First of all, it's just so good to be here. I mean, we've known each other in this field for quite a few years now, but this is our first time coming together on New Realities.
One-on-one, yes, on New Realities. And you really do present a New Realities. I'm sitting in front of the new album that Kristin just put out, the cover for her new album, Rain Shine. We're going to talk about that. We're going to hear some music from that. You're also a composer, producer. You do sound healing. And I think what's so amazing is that you can speak really well and express yourself, but you also influence people on a sound level to shift consciousness. And so you're getting to them beyond the words, which is what's so powerful about music. I mean, you were gifted with a great voice and great skill, but talk about that. How, like, there's everyone who's out there talking, but you're doing something else. Can you describe it?
Oh, well, thank you, first of all.
Yeah.
I feel passionately about this subject, that music is the language that connects us. I feel, and I've seen it a billion times in my life, the minute music comes into a space, no matter whether there's been tension in that space or argument or disharmony, or whether people have felt uncomfortable, the minute conscious music enters, immediately we are called into harmony with each other. We are called into a language that we all speak. Mm-hmm. And I truly believe music and melody, sound, resonance, these are the codes of consciousness that really impact us as humans on universal and very deep levels. And beyond words, I mean, I love music with words, but one of my greatest curiosities in life, I think, as a singer, is actually using the voice as an instrument. So exploring the voice even beyond songs with words, but actually using the voice as an ethereal instrument.
It is ethereal, the way you use your voice. And it's too bad this isn't more mainstream. I mean, I went to a concert, or no, a 5-day event where they played the same electronic music 24 hours. It sounded the same to me. There was no life there, no vitality. I mean, you should be on the top charts, and maybe people just have to evolve to get what we're all trying to do here.
Well, I think we are now seeing a lot more coming forward out of the worlds of neoclassical and new age and conscious music. I'm definitely noticing that it's rising up in the mainstream. And, when I started sound healing back in about 2007, 2006 was when I really started doing my first sound baths and whatnot. I would work with groups of people and I would say, has anyone had a sound bath? Or do you know what sound healing is? And especially on the East Coast, most people had no clue. And I would go out to California and do sound baths, and yes, people knew. They were about 10 years ahead. But now, wherever I am in the world sharing sound healing or sound bath, almost everyone has at least heard of it or has had a personal experience. So that just shows me that we're ready to integrate with sound as medicine. And I think that actually the future of medicine lies in resonance.
Right. Sound, frequency, vibration. We are vibration. So that's why I mean, you're getting past the mind that like, and even when you sing, it's also the kind of poetry that is not, you're not intellectualizing, you're feeling it. So
Yes. Well, before I sing, and I always tell groups that I'm working with who I'm trying to help to free the voice, I always say, you know, up until a certain point, I thought of myself in my younger years as a performer, and I would step on stage and think, oh, I have to do this performance for everyone. And I would get really hung up in my own expectations of perfection. And the minute I actually changed that whole inner narrative to every time I step on a stage or I'm sharing music, it's a sharing and we're all in a circle together. And I actually envision all of us being in a living room together, sitting in a circle. And then I open myself, I ask spirit, I ask my guides, please let me be a vehicle, a vessel for the highest encoding of energy, of awakening, illumination that can come through at this time for this group of people. And so I get to be in a co-creation with both spirit and everyone in a space.
right.
It's not just me doing something it's we co-creating an experience. And that has shifted everything for me.
No, that's really what a lot of people I've just been talking to. Lynn McTaggart talks about the field, Joe Dispenza, the quantum field. So you are aware of the field and its influence that individuals can create on that. Yeah. And
Definitely. I think that's the fun of working in this specific relationship with music. And I think it's really become my core mission in life is to work with that field of consciousness. And yes, I get to weave with music, but it's way beyond that. It's actually the awareness of the field, and how I weave with that energy is as primary as the sound that comes out.
that's beautiful. And you are now, I feel you're building. I mean, you've been in it this for a long time, but this latest album that I'm sitting in front of, Rain Shine, I know it's like you put so much time. This is 7 years in the making, right? And
7 years in the making. I would say this album, rather than thinking of, oh, I'm going to make an album and then doing it from here, it was a process more of listening, deep listening to the land, to spirit, and letting these songs come through. And I realized in the middle of that process, oh, I can't rush this. I have to be very present. So I never even worked on this music. If it wasn't music that I fit in an afternoon, if I had a few free hours here and there, it was a deep, deep process, weaving with consciousness. So shall I share a little bit?
yeah,
from
I
the
just
album?
want to say before you share it, I mean, I'm holding it here, I'm sitting in front, but this is not like you're going to put on an album and listen to some music. And it's actually a concept album, like sort of the way Sgt. Pepper's was for the Beatles or Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. And you are progressing in this album from Borne, you know, the first section, which you're going to sing, to Map of Souls. It's sort of like you're progressing through the life of the human from incarnation to the realization of spirit. And
Yes, that's a great way to look at it. And I actually think of the two songs I'm going to sing today as bookends, where the narrator is speaking to you, leading you into the journey, and then concluding the journey. And then in the middle, you're going deep within. It's a very cathartic album that ultimately leads you into this, hopefully, into a deep soul awakening, or as I like to say, a resparking. And Rain Shine in itself, I think of it as it's about living in your full spectrum expression rather than partitioning yourself. Oh, I just have to be this light being. It's about loving into all of your life, the storm, the light. And when you can let that light come in and illuminate the storm, there's this kind of sacred quiver point. And if you think of a seed that's just received water and then the light comes in, that seed starts to shake and you feel that potential for blossoming. And that's what Rainshine
No,
is
I
to me,
loved
at
it.
least.
I mean, I played it in my car on a drive out to Long Island and played the whole thing because that's the only place I have a CD player, you know. But it was great because it's epic and it's deeply emotional, and you bring people through sort of what you said, a range of feelings, which in a way only music can do, can only, you know, like classical music, you immediately feel something. This is classical in the sense of vibrational consciousness, if that makes sense.
Yes. And I would say this album exists at the intersection of classical and new age. And then there's some surprise kind of rhythms and that come in as well. And yeah, I would say, you might laugh at this, but I designed this almost to serve as a sonic mushroom trip, you know, that you can go deep into an experience. It's called, my tagline is Sonic Alchemy for Soul Awakening. And actually, that is what it's designed for, so that you can go into this journey, remember, oh yes, this is who I am, come out the other end and really use it in your awakening path.
Well, what's also brilliant about this is that you weave together so many different genres. You know, there's the classical, there's the spiritual, new age sort of music, and then you also have elements of like a kind of new music, avant-garde sound to it as well. And you just kind of weave it all in very fluidly, and of course with your voice, which we're about to hear. And I think this should be nominated for a Grammy. I think it's as good as, you know, the White Sun won a Grammy for their kind of spiritual music. I think. Have you put it up for the Grammy Awards?
You know, I have not. I don't spend time in the realm of, I have a lot of friends who do the whole Grammy scene. And once you've seen behind the curtain of that world, and, you know, everyone has to live their own path. But I spent most of my 20s on major labels and kind of seeing behind the curtain of that major label mainstream music world. And there's a lot of benefits that come from working in that space. And I've realized that in order to even get a Grammy, you have to throw the best parties, have a fantastic amount of income that you can put towards promoting yourself. It takes a ton of time. It's not, unfortunately, just this scene where, oh, you make an amazing album and you're just recognized for the music. It's actually not that at all. So I've chosen consciously in life, I don't want to spend my precious time here focusing on trying to get awards. If awards come, beautiful. That's never been my main focus. And so I'll take your Grammy.
Okay, I'll talk to our favorite PR person, see if she can work on getting you into the Grammys. All right, there's a video that goes with this song.
Perfect. Here we go.
All right.
This is called Borne.
And this is from her new album, Kristin Hoffmann.
Falling into
new again.
Wow. It's operatic. I mean, it's like that quality of your voice. It actually reminded me of like Stravinsky's operas, you know? Is that Stravinsky?
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's a great compliment. Thank you.
Don't-
Well, I definitely love to bring in some of my opera background and yet keep things very modern. And I feel like Borne does that.
well, you know, the let it out and let it in, you were doing that vibrationally in your singing. So the somatic experience is to feel the breath out and in as you're singing those words.
Definitely. I would say breath is one of the most important parts of both the singing and the grounding, or not grounding, really immersing ourselves in that space that I'm hoping everyone can tap into while listening.
Well, but thank you so much for that. I mean, how did people get this? I mean, we're going to review that at the end, but how can people just? I want them to hear all of it.
Yeah, I mean, Rainshine is available on any online store that you could imagine. So if you have a favorite, you'll find it there. If you want to really support me in the highest way, the best way to do that is to go to my Bandcamp page, which is Kristin Hoffmann, spelled with my first name is Kristin, and then Hoffmann, Hoffmann. There's two N's at the end, and then it's just .bandcamp.com, and you can make a donation for the album, which always, I think these days, helps artists in a wonderful way.
I just love hearing you sing it with your passion that you do everything with. I mean, we've been at so many events where you're just, you know, you're just the voice of the event in a sense.
Yes. Well, for live events of Rainshine, I've asked everyone actually to not clap in between, because it really is going into kind of a womb of experience together. And so once the journey starts, I actually have this incredible video that was created to go. It's a full-length album video that was created to really help everyone have that immersive experience, both visually and sonically. And I surround people with the sound, they're immersed in the video, and there's no clapping. So it really just allows people to receive the whole experience. And then at the end, once we come out, I actually open up into kind of a song experience so that everyone can share, oh, what visions came? Did you have any memories? Did you have any new realities about yourself? Come forward. And that's been really fun too, is to actually see what happens with those who are held and journeying through the Rainshine space.
And the video was done by Troy, your partner?
The video was done by Troy and one of our great friends who's a fantastic video editor, David Bryan. And they put so much love into it. Troy curated thousands of Creative Commons, images. And then they went with so much love into each piece to really help tell the story. Not tell the story, I would say enhance the journey, and not actually tell too much of a story, so that you as a viewer can really find your own meaning in a lot of the symbolism and a lot of the archetypes and the beauty that's there.
Well, one thing I really do love talking to artists, musical or visual, I talked to Alex Gray about the creative inspiration and how actually when you're working in the consciousness field, you're not just entertaining. There's this other element that's added to the creativity. Maybe it is to all creative process, but it's it's about not just one's own personal angst, but you're tapping in, like we said earlier, into the collective. So there's this other element in the creative process. Talk about your journey in that.
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel, well, a lot of the projects I work on these days are in conjunction with organizations, the peace movement, the consciousness movement. So sometimes someone's coming to me with a specific theme or a message that they want to get out into the world. For instance, I just released a new song called Welcome to the Golden Age, and that was in conjunction with David Gershon and his Peace on Earth by 2030 game and movement. And David came and said, I need conscious music to really unite everyone who's playing and help us all lift up together and encode the meaning of the game and movement into a sonic experience. And so then I step into my studio. I usually talk to someone. I take a lot of notes. I almost make like a collage of images as I'm having a conversation with someone. And then once I'm in my own space, I tune in, I welcome in the collaborative spirit energy, and then I go to work. And it's just amazing what happens, again, working with the conscious field. The song almost starts to write itself. I start to hear melodies, they come forward. The words almost jump off the page and reveal themselves to me. So again, just like Rainshine, it's a process of deep listening. Right. Now, other ways that I write music are very personal, and I might have a unique experience in my own life, or I'm looking out at the world and seeing a common thread, or I'm inspired by a collective group talk that I've been to, and suddenly I find myself moved to just go and bring that through in the form of music. So it happens in different ways. I would say one of my favorite forms these days is actually a process that I call soul om, or light weaving with om, the vibration of the universe. And in this space of soul om, I bring through pieces live, and often with groups of people. I've been doing it a lot on Zoom gatherings with hundreds of people, and all of the music just literally comes through in that moment. Right. And
you did it for my book.
Kind of I did it for your book. You're right. That was amazing.
That was great. A little making contact, little solo there.
So those are a few of the ways that I experience the creative spark myself.
But don't you think that's so magical, the way, there's a dialogue of Plato's where Socrates is talking to this poet, and he says to him, do you know what makes your poetry so great? And he goes, yeah, I put this inflection and all. And Socrates goes, no, it's when you're out of the way and the gods are using you to express,
Perfectly said. I think when we get out of our own way, but bring our uniquely tuned vehicle, I would say. So we've been learning and growing and fine tuning this instrument our whole lives. And then with that finely tuned instrument, we can kind of get out of our way and spirit can come in and play with us. And
allow it.
You never know when it's going to come. I find that nature is a great muse always. If I go for a nice hike in nature, it starts to come. I mean, I went to a beautiful exhibit in New York City the other day for my birthday that is called Larger Than Love, and it's all about these horses of Sable Island. And just this morning, when I was getting ready to come on with you, I had taken a bath, and I was just feeling suddenly these horses and the way that they almost look through your soul, or look through my soul. And I was thinking, wow, this is almost like a therapy, looking into the eyes of these free beings. And immediately that title, Larger Than Love, poured in, and then all of these words came, and I had to just write it all down. And I haven't heard the melody yet, but sitting on my kitchen counter right now are all these words about larger than love.
Wow. I can't wait to hear that one, because I think that's why we're here in form, is to be the creative force is to channel it through and that's what William Blake said, the imagination is the essence of the human being.
I could not agree more. I think, and if I achieve anything in this life, I hope that it's inspiring that creative force to come through in others through the work that I'm doing. So that's my main goal. And I think we each have that unique creative way to both receive, express, and some of us have not gotten in touch with it yet. Maybe it's dormant in some people, but everyone has that unique spark and that unique creative expression. So I'm constantly trying to enhance that space where others can remember.
No,
and I can remember.
I totally agree with that. I think that just imagine a world where everyone is creating. I mean, that's the purpose of incarnation. That's what I call the flowering of humanity, is the society that is built on creative action.
Yes. And I love how, I love Krishnamurti's book on freedom. I don't know if you've ever read that, but around creation and specifically improvisation, he says that no one is ever free until they reach that point where they are improvising. Everything else is kind of a repetition. Right. But when you're in that creative flow, when you allow yourself to really embrace and step into the improvisation, that's where we become free beings, because we're just one with source. And that just has always moved me so deeply.
No, I was just thinking about that quote when he also says freedom is freedom from the known, So
I feel it.
And so when you are creating, it's my evidence for being in an open universe that's constantly feeding through us. So it's like the unknown is moving into this realm of consciousness, wanting to be expressed. So, and then we're inspiring others with our connection to these new realities that are manifesting.
Yes, it's a great mystery. I always think of it as we're almost on this incredible, mysterious treasure hunt of creativity and meaning, and searching ever more deeply as souls who are connected and discovering those connections through our creation.
Yeah, and that's what's so alive about you. You found your purpose, In Chinese medicine, the highest form of medicine is connecting people to their purpose, because that gives them life and energy. So how can you help people find that purpose as just an advisor of creative force?
That's a good question. Well, I would say just being authentic. I'm a big fan of authenticity, and also I also zooming out, I'm always zooming out and then speaking with authenticity and embracing the whole journey, the whole rain-shine journey, the storm, the light, so that people who are in space with me feel that all of them is welcome. I think a lot of times we're not embracing our creative spirit because somewhere along the line we've partitioned ourselves. Someone, maybe if you had a dream to sing more. I just worked with someone yesterday who, when she was younger, had someone say, "Oh, you shouldn't ever sing," and told her mother that, and then her mother told her. And just the block that was there, and then working through that and clearing it. And so many people have these stories, one story or another, of how they were told something negative or made to think that they couldn't become their dreams. Yeah. And I think that shutdown is really blocking our creativity as a whole. So every time I can open up a space where I encourage that healing, the remembering of, even calling up the wound and remembering it and then letting it go, that I think is where true healing starts to happen. And I don't think there's a better medium than music to really hold that process.
No, that's so good. You reminded me of what Bashar says, follow your passion, follow your desires. And that is your gift by us, you. I mean, I could see you are total in your expression. That's just so beautiful to watch that you're total in that.
Thank you, Ellen. And I just want to say also, I am still learning. I'm always learning. We're always evolving. I feel grateful every day to wake up and know what my mission is. And yet it's kind of like the Taurus. I feel like I'm always unfolding to the next layer of me and my relationship to this life. What is this mission? And, you know, we get the pieces as we're ready for them. So as I grow, I'll get those next pieces. And I think that's part of the fun of it. It can be daunting as at times kind of being an explorer of your own, setting the course of your own path as an artist. And yet that's where the true fun lies too.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do. And that is hard because there's no one telling you, but so we need each other to encourage that creative spirit in whatever form. And
Indeed.
so,
Indeed.
but talk about, before, I want you to do the last song too, you said you would, but don't talk to us about how you collaborate with others. So, you know, there's your creativity and then you want to bring in others, in musicians, and how does that manage in like a project like this or anything you're working with?
Working with other creatives, other
other
musicians?
creatives, and how do you align with the vision, or they have their piece and then you have to integrate into your piece? So how do you work?
Yeah, so I'll usually kind of create what I call the skeleton. I know it sounds, well, it's almost Halloween right now. So I create the artistic skeleton and bring through my vision. And I do that in my studio. I've been producing my own music for quite a few years now. And I have to say, this is just a little aside, as a female musician in the industry, it's very rare to come across other female producers. And I have to say, if anyone's watching this and you are a female musician, I highly encourage you to just start learning the basics of a Pro Tools or a Logic so that you can actually get your vision out as you see it. So even creating the skeleton that I'm talking about, there's something so important about being able to do that part yourself. And then what I do from there is I'll send out a track. I'll say, oh, I envision drums and percussion on this track. Oh, I envision sarangi on this track. And I'll send the track out with some little instructions. And then I just say a prayer and hope that being who I'm sending it to really understands the vision and brings their own magic to it. And then they'll send me back tracks and then I call them into my session and integrate from there. That's the modern way, I think, of making music. Unfortunately, we're living in an era where everybody going to a studio to record doesn't happen that much anymore. It's usually making music in this way that I'm talking about.
Well, it's great. Are you deeply satisfied with Rainshine? Is that like?
I am so satisfied with Rainshine. I feel, I kind of jokingly said when I finally had that album in my hand and it released to the world, I jokingly but truly felt this, that if I was to die today, I feel like I accomplished one of my main life missions in birthing this music into the world. To me, this was one of my most important spirit encodings in sonic form. And actually, I even brought 3D immersive sound into all of this soundtrack. So as you're listening, you're going to literally feel kind of held in the sound. And I worked with an incredible 3D sound engineer, Paul Geluso, and then brought all of his 3D sound elements into my mixes when I was mixing.
Wow, that is a beautiful way to describe it. So we'll do one last song, but also just tell people how to find the album and you, and also you do these monthly gatherings as well.
Yes, so you can find the album. I think the best central place to go is my website, Kristin, again, Kristin, Hoffmann, HOFFMANN.com, KristinHoffmann.com. And you can find basically everything that I do, from music to videos, to interviews, and about sound healing, about I'm the singer of a project called Bella Gaia. We tour all around the world. There's a page for that. I have a project called Song for the Ocean that I sing around the world. You can find out about that. And most importantly, I want to invite you to be a part of what I call my Sonic Soul family. And each month, on the third Sunday of each month, I'm having an online Sonic Soul family gathering. And there's a different theme each month. And I kind of bookend our gatherings with a musical song around that theme, and then a Solome song of light. So there's always an improvisation that's a little bit longer, kind of a deep musical meditation, and a song. And then in the middle, we have a deep dialogue around the theme of the week, or of the month.
Great.
You can find that just by going to my website. In the top right corner, you'll see it says payments and membership. And if you follow membership, it will take you right to Sonic Soul Family. It's just $11 a month to join. And I think it's truly worth it. We have an incredible group of people and a deep space of sharing.
Right. And now you're also helping other singers get out there too in a big way, encourage working, coaching.
I love lifting other musicians up. I fully believe we are not living in a realm of competition. We are living in a world of collaboration. And so part of my job, I think, as a musician is also to amplify others that I believe in. And it's just a joy, I think, to make those connections when I see something that's someone who's brilliant.
Well, thank you for your dedication and love. And yeah, I'd love to hear your last song, Map of Souls, and then we'll say goodbye, or hello, or see you soon.
We'll say see you soon. Okay, so this song just says, take your time, right? We're so busy these days, running around. There's so many distractions. And this song says, take your time. It's your master plan. Just slow down, breathe. Take the time to listen to your true path, to your mission, to your heart, and you'll be guided. It's your master plan, guiding you back home again, as the maidens cry, tears through the veils. Take your precious time. Step by step, the tombs unsealed, lifetimes buried, now revealed. Feel the moonlight dance these ancient eyes. Step by step, you'll find the Just take your precious time. Infinite gratitude, infinite gratitude.
Listening to music again, when you hear that again, it becomes a kind of mantra. It takes a while to cognize new patterns of cognition. So hearing it again, it goes deeper. It's like hearing it the first time. I know, and that's true with a lot of music. You have to, well, how am I listening? Where's it hitting me? And then listen to it again, and it just goes, it starts to sound familiar. It starts to sound like something you've already known when it's a great song. It's
well, thank you so much. I'm glad that you're having that experience. My hope is that it does go deeper each time, and that it can really serve as a companion, not just music that you listen to one time, but that you can bring with you on your journey.
No, I think that's what's beautiful about music. It starts to register what Joe Dispenza says, neural nets of cognition, and then you find the place that starts to resonate with you and with me. And so,
sure. I think we are beings of pattern. And so recognizing pattern is part of how we integrate.
Yeah, it just resonates on a deeper somatic level then too, you know.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad that has been your experience.
It has for this one. Thank you.
That's always the hope. That's always the hope. I can't say that I have accomplished it every time, but that's one of the
No, I think every time people listen to beautiful music, that's why people listen to classical music that's been around for years, forever.
Indeed. I mean, these melodies become almost archetypes of our being.
And the new melodies awaken new patterns. Yes. The best thing I like about music, because I'm not really that much of a musical person, but of course I love music, but it's not my art form. It's when I'm listening and I'm remembering and feeling things I've been through. It's like I heard a song once that was like some love song, and said, oh, I didn't know I felt that until the music hit me. And then it brought up things that allowed me to feel more of myself. And that's sort of what that song did for me, bringing up feelings and connections and longings. And it goes beyond just hearing the sounds, but it actually is a map of souls right there. Yes,
it is. It's a map of souls. But I think that's what we all are. We're a map of souls, tracing our pathway together and seeing how we connect.
So you produce this all and do the backup vocals? Is that all you?
Yes, I produced everything. I did all the vocals, the piano, the symphonic elements, except I did have some enhancements with viola and some other beautiful musicians who brought forth incredible.
The voices behind you, the chorus is you.
That's all me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you produced it. You didn't have help, like saying from an engineer saying.
I did not have help. I mean, I did, like I said, for the 3D enhancement, I worked with Paul DeLusso. And basically what I would do is I would make stems of about 5 different, how would I describe it? Conglomerations of the sound. And I would send them to Paul, and then he would add 3D, and then he'd bring them back, and I would mix those kind of reflections into the whole piece. And then I work with an incredible mastering engineer who I always say brings it the rest of the way there. But once I finish the mixes, then I send them, and that's always a part of the recording process, is to get tracks mastered. And this beautiful soul, Alan Silverman, he just understands music like this. He's such a sensitive, incredible being. So I always say in life, mastering, I think, takes it the last 10% of the way there.
So what's next for you? I mean, there's probably a bunch of things we're going to be at together. What's coming up for you so people can know?
Well, coming up, I'm actually flying out to Oregon this week to work on someone else's album, which I do as well with engineering and whatnot. And we have a big Bella Gaia show coming up in Houston in conjunction with Earth Harp. Bella Gaia and Earth Harp are teaming up at this space we've played a few times called Miller Outdoor Amphitheater. And it's just amazing. So I'm very excited about that. Of course, I'm always weaving with Unity Earth and the evolutionary leaders and so many of our beloved intersecting circles in the consciousness field. And I just got back from playing at an incredible wellness retreat in the Maldives at this. I keep saying it was heaven on earth. I got back from heaven on earth, but weaving with so many incredible luminaries and. I know one of our mutual friends, Bruce Lipton, and Shamini Jain, who's also in the Evolutionary Leaders. So it was a time with peers and then meeting new wonderful leaders.
And more to come, more music, I'm sure. You're just living and breathing it. And that thing you did for David Gershon, it's called what again?
It's called Welcome to the Golden Age.
Right. I heard that and I love that song too.
I'm so happy with how that one turned out. I mean, I do a lot of theme songs for organizations or for projects, and that's one of my all-time favorites. So you can find that in your favorite online store. Oh,
I will. Welcome to the Golden Age. Is that it?
Yeah.
And it reminded me of the Imagine, John Lennon's Imagine. It had that.
That's great because, David Gershon loves John Lennon's Imagine. He actually, they call a part of their institute the Imagine Institute. And so that was one of his guiding lights for the song. And so I'm glad you hear that.
I did hear that. It's like, wow, and it was, anyway, all your stuff. And I can't wait to kind of come to another live performance somewhere. And we'll do that. And thank you for just showing here, and sharing your beauty, your gift, it's sort of how you express love is through your voice. It's just like beams out of you. Yeah.
That's such a beautiful reflection. I hope that that's the experience. I feel like you're right. That's the way that I can give the most potent expression of my love and my allness. Yeah.
Well, because your personality, which is also very nice, but that is out of the way. No, I mean,
I'm glad that's okay too.
No, it's out of the way, and just like the purity of the voice and being is what I feel, and that's why people in our collective community is just like, oh, Kristin, let's have her sing something there. So, anyway, thank you for
more incredible times to come. I know, and like I said, we're always guided to the next steps, the next pieces, and I know. There's many more adventures in the year ahead.
And buy Rain Shine, contribute, and listen to it, because it'll take you watching through movements of your life in a sense. So I think.
Yeah, and I encourage people to really listen to the whole, give yourself the gift of lying down, maybe turning off the lights, closing your eyes, I don't know, putting on an eye cover, and choose your favorite headphones or speakers and give yourself the gift of the Rain Shine experience. Let it all take you on a journey. It's 40 minutes long, so it's perfect for a nice meditation.
Great. I'm sure like massage therapists and yoga schools and all. Yeah.
That would be an ideal space.
Well, all right.
Okay.
We will talk soon. Kristin Hoffmann.
Thank you. Love you so much and very grateful for everything you do.
And thank you, Jan Goldstaff, for making this possible as executive producer, Public Relations, and I'll see you on the journey soon.
I'll see you. That's a good, I'll see you on the journey.
You can write a song about that.
I have a song called The Journey, actually.
All right. Yeah. Well, I want to hear.
I'll sing it to you next time we're together.
Okay.
Anyone listening can just go to my website, kristinhoffmann.com, and I have little players for everything. And if you want to download, they lead you right to my Bandcamp page. You can just press the little button, and it's easy that way.
Great. But Rain Shine, go there, because it's
all of it.
I will talk to you soon.
Step by step, you will find